looking at the pro figure physiques, I just think there's just no way. There's just no way I'm gonna look like that without taking steroids, and I'm not going to. So, you know, I thought, this sucks. Am I just gonna stop? Or maybe I'll just go to a natural organization and become pro there. But it doesn't have as much of a victory because, you know, the IFBB is one of the most prestigious bodybuilding organization out there. And I've already placed nationally 3 times, so why would I downgrade to another organization where the title doesn't mean as much, at least in the bodybuilding industry? So I thought, you know, what else can I do? And I've been feeling a little defeated lately about my goal to become an IFBB Pro in the figure division. And a lot's been on my mind. I just got out of the shower, I have like no makeup on, and I haven't done a sit down video in a while, so I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna turn the camera on and talk. Hi, this is me, Bonnie. Today's video is going to be a vlog, but it will be informational and full of tidbits and insights for those of you who are interested in competing or want to eventually do your first show. So I'm going to talk about my journey so far, my change in plans. I still want to become an IFBB Pro, and just things that I've learned along the way and some ideas for people who want to do their first show. So first off, I started competing in 2011. I got into it because I always loved working out ever since I found out I was genetically strong. And people would start asking me, you know, what are you training for? It looks like you're training to kill someone. And then I discovered that this entire world of bodybuilding existed. And I was like, oh, I could do that. And so that's when I started in NPC bikini division. Because when I looked at the figure competitors, I thought they look huge. I don't want to look that masculine. So I found a IFBB Pro coach who was in the physique division, and that was my first mistake. She had no idea what judges looked for in a bikini competitor. So she told me they have like pantyhose-like legs, and at the time my body was just not proportionate. My legs were massive, and my genetics is just, you know, my legs grow so fast. So I had to go to the gym and lose muscle, and I found out the best way to lose mass in your legs is to run. So I would just go on the cardio machine and I would be like, pantyhose and skinny bitches, you know, pantyhose legs and skinny bitches. That was my mantra, and I shrunk. The issue is I shrunk so much I turned into a skeleton, and I thought I wasn't even lean enough because I got delusional. And this coach of mine really didn't know what the ideal physique was. She thought I looked great. So that's mistake number 1. If you are going to compete, get a coach that knows your division and what judges look for in that division. So I did really poorly because I turned into a skeleton. You could see my ribs and everything, and it was just horrible. So then I competed, I switched divisions and competed in figure, because then I heard all these, I don't know, I guess chatter about people making fun of the bikini division because, you know, it's like girls that just hop off the elliptical and they go on stage. It's so all about boobs and ass, and people wish they could do the figure division, but they just don't have enough muscle mass. So after my first show and looking at the figure competitors, I'm like, oh, they look like what my size was. So I loved the idea of kind of, I guess, doing a division that people wish they could do, but they can't because they don't have the muscle for it. And I also like the idea that it's, for me at least personally, it feels more like bodybuilding because you have to flex, you know, it matters how your back looks, you know, you have to be proportionate, you have to have definition and all these lines and everything. So I always thought of it as the most feminine version of bodybuilding that requires flexing. So that's why I really love that division, and that's why I stayed there, but also because I did well. So I competed 3 times in the figure division, and each time I qualified nationally. The first time I was really, really small compared to everyone. This is my second show, so I learned from my first mistake, and I got 2 coaches this time, and they're both IFBB pros, and one of them was an IFBB pro judge. So I was like, all right, this guy knows what the division is looking for. And so I had a coach for the diet and also for my workouts, and I got shredded. I mean, I came in really, really conditioned, even though I was really small, and I was very proportionate. So I placed nationally, which was awesome. And every year since that, I've built more muscle, lost the fat, and came on stage actually 8 pounds heavier each time. So I started at 5'6", 114 pounds, really, really small, skinny, and scrawny and skeleton-like. And then I competed at 124, and then 132, and 140 pounds last year. So I've been qualified nationally 3 times, but I've never competed at nationals because I never felt ready. They say that you should only go to nationals when you place first or second in the nationally qualifying shows. Another thing about the shows is that I chose to compete in the big shows, the high profile shows, like that. Even for my very first show, I remember people telling me like, oh, that's your very first show. Why are you going to go to such a big show? Because I figured, if I'm gonna bust my ass and do all this and torture myself to get so lean and shredded, why am I gonna do a small show? I might as well go to the best show and see how I do. It also gives you that much more satisfaction when you win. And I placed. So since I did well, I figured why not stay in that same division and keep on doing figure. The other thing is, I remember, this is a side note, but when I competed, my coach told me, the judges don't know who you are. So you want to get on stage as often as you can. So if you can do novice and open, and if you're in masters, you should do all 3 divisions, because it just means more time on stage, and the more times the judges will see you. And then if you really want to progress in the sport, you want to do the same shows over and over again, because it'll be that same big show every year, and the judges will recognize who you are, and they'll see your improvements and how your physique has developed. So anyway, so that's that. That's kind of my history. And now I've come to the realization, looking at, the Olympia just passed, and just looking at the IFBB Pro figure girls, I mean, they are just so big and shredded. I have never been able to get my legs to be that shredded. And for females wondering, like, the legs are one of the last body parts for us to lose all the fat. It's so hard to get shredded, even when you get down to 10% body fat. And that's what I was at, like, all my shows. So it takes time, and it's really, really hard. A lot of them who get to the IFBB Pro status, they're on drugs. They have to be taking something. And I have nothing against people who do that. I mean, I understand it when you get to a certain level. People really want it that bad, and they've invested time, energy, whatever it is, and they need that competitive edge. And for me, I am just against everything. I remember I had a IFBB Pro, diet coach who had me suggested I take clenbuterol, and I remember asking my other coach and saying, hey, is this a steroid? I don't even know the names of these steroids, right? So he was like, yeah, it's a mild form. And I would have other people telling me that it's used in doctors, whatever. I'm just like, okay, I don't care. If it's a mild form, I'm not taking it. And when you look at the natural bodybuilding organizations, they do have it listed as a banned substance. So whatever, I'm not taking any of that crap. I'm doing it all naturally. And that puts me at a disadvantage, especially for the IFBB Pro organization. So I know it'll be hard. I asked the judge if it's possible for me to become pro as a natural athlete in the figure division. He said, yes, it's possible. It'll take me at least 3 years if I was doing everything right, like every single month. But it's really, really hard, especially for that division. So that's something I've been thinking about, and also just looking at their physiques at the pro level, I don't really want to look like that. I think it's too big for me personally. I've gained so much muscle that I think I'm too big now, and I can't wait for my next competition so I can cut some fat and some size. But if you look at the pro level for bikini competitors, they look like my ideal. They look like the overall figure winners in the national qualifying shows. Bikini at the national qualifying shows, they look, a lot of them look really tiny, and they don't have that much muscle mass. And that's not what I want to look like. However, the pro version of bikini competitors, that's what I want to look like. And that is possible as a natural athlete. I might switch divisions and go back to bikini. I may do figure again and qualify, and also try bikini just to see how I place. I mean, this is the most mass I've ever had, so it would be really interesting. I definitely have to learn my presentation poses, because I'm really not that like prissy girly kind of person. I'd rather flex. It's a lot easier, so I'll have to work on that and the sassiness. But it's just my thinking right now. At least that way I can still have a viable goal to become IFBB Pro. And I am so rambling right now. And yes, bikini competitors do take steroids and drugs and whatever, but at least I can still look that way without taking stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I might switch to being a bikini competitor. Now, in terms of dieting, I remember when I first started, I did the eat every 2.5, 3 hours, 6 meals, packed everything in Tupperware containers, ate the same thing almost every single day. And it was so hard. I remember I always kept messing up with my foods. And thank God, eventually, as I kept competing, it got easier and easier. I also transitioned into intermittent fasting. So for my second show, even though my coach was really old school bodybuilding, I kind of did half and half and didn't tell him. So I would do half of my week, or mainly my weekdays. Like, I was like, you know, I'm gonna pay all this money. I'm gonna obviously follow him and his advice. So I would eat every 2.5, 3 hours. And then the weekends, I did intermittent fasting. And I still got shredded. So I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. And then for the last 2 shows, I did pure intermittent fasting and I still got shredded. So it's just proof that you can do intermittent fasting and get competition lean and shredded. However, I have heard that even though both approaches work, people say that you tend to get better conditioned when you do the 2.5, 3 hours. I can't really confirm that, but it could be true. Another thing I want to talk about is I don't like or recommend doing competitions back to back to back and not like several times a year, because your body needs a rest and a break from all that dieting. Otherwise, you're just going to really mess up your metabolism. And plus, you do need a break to build muscle and kind of improve your physique before you step on stage again. And when you do start a prep, I have so many people that have come to me eating like 1,000 calories and they want to start their next show. If you start a competition prep at such low calories, you're only going to really suffer and mess up your metabolism that much more, because you're going to have to eat less than the 1,000 calories that you were already eating. And that's what leads to, or at least it's part of the reason that leads to eating issues and even disorders after competition preps. So if you're going to do a competition, make sure you're starting at maintenance calories, or ideally right after a muscle building phase, so you have a lot more room to cut the calories and it'll be that much easier of a prep for you. In terms of advice for people who want to compete, I think it would be really helpful to have a coach that actually cares and someone who knows what you're competing for and can give you a really valid assessment of like, what do you need to work on? So I have an idea I do have a friend who is an IFBB Pro judge, and if you guys think this is helpful, I could probably approach him to create a special offer for you. Maybe interview him, ask him some questions about, you know, the different divisions, and maybe offer an assessment of your current body and what you need to work on, and then maybe a custom workout for improving those body parts specifically. I don't know. If that's helpful, let me know. I can ask him and maybe create that video and offer. And in terms of the nutrition, that is an area that I can help in and specialize in. I have been offering mainly personal coaching. However, I did create a system that gives you all the knowledge that you need to create your own custom eating plan based on your goals and how to make changes as your body progresses and as your goals change. So these are the exact strategies that I've used for all my competition preps after hiring the 2 coaches and for my clients, and it combines all of my fitness nutrition certification experience, all my bodybuilding experience, all the knowledge that I've gleaned from all these bodybuilding prep coaches, and it's all kind of distilled in a step-by-step format on how to create your own eating plan. So everything from how to lose weight and fat while maintaining your muscle, to how do you reverse diet to get back to maintenance, and how do you eat to build lean muscle without all that fat. So if you go through these cycles of nutrition programs, you can really create your ideal physique over however many years you want, and depending on how much muscle you want to build. If you're interested, all the details are at my link at eatnotdiet.com/YouTube offer, and you'll get lifetime access to the system. And I also created a new secret Facebook group where right now, for anyone who joins, I'm also going to give them lifetime access to that. And probably sometime in 2018, I'll start a membership offer. But right now, I am giving lifetime access to both. And of course, there is the option to upgrade to personal coaching anytime. So if you're interested, check out the link below, eatnotdiet.com/YouTube offer. And I think that's all I really have to say for today. Let me know if you guys think the offer to get the physique assessment from my IFBB Pro judge friend would help, and custom workout for the body parts that you need to improve. And I talked about a lot, so feel free to share comments below. Let me know what you guys think about anything. And that's it. Until next time, stay tuned. Please subscribe. Give me a like if you like this video. And thanks for watching.